This podcast is brought to you by Convo Cloth, the official clothing apparel of the NBC podcast. For the latest apparel, please go to www.nothingButConvos.com. Now, let's get into the latest episode of the NBC podcast with your boy, S. McCann. What's good, people?
Nothing like it.
It's the NBC podcast with your boy, S. McCann. And this is episode 32, Eagles Week 16 review. And in this week, we beat the Giants. Another divisional game win. Our chances of making the playoffs increased. And I'm excited for this young team to make the playoffs. So in this pod, I break down our win, our chances of making the playoffs, and our overview of our game with the Washington football team in week 17. So sit back, relax, let's get it. Week 16, our game against the New York Giants. Eagles. This game wasn't close. Giants played two backup quarterbacks. Jake Fromm couldn't get it done. He threw a pick. Mike Glennon came in and relieved him. He had 93 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. That was in garbage time. We shut down the run. Saquon Barkley had 15 carries, 32 yards. Devontae Booker had 6 carries, 27 yards. And basically everyone else, pass catchers, were shut down by this defense. In all of these weeks, due to COVID or injury, we haven't been playing against a capable starting NFL quarterback. And I think if we make the playoffs, that will be one of the things that I will be looking at, how this defense will look against a certified starting NFL quarterback. So this game, our team, the Eagles, passing wise, Jalen Hurts, 17 of 29, 199 yards, 2 TDs. Miles Sanders, when he was in the game, he went out with a hand injury, and it turned out that he has a hand fracture. I don't know if he can play with that. He's out in week 17, and hopefully, if we do make the playoffs, we can have him running the ball for us in the playoffs. And so Miles Sanders, 7 carries, 45 yards, 6.4 yards a carry. He would have got 100 if he stayed in the game. Boston Scott, 12 carries, 41 yards, 3.4 yards a carry, 1 touchdown. Jordan Howard, 9 carries, 37 yards, 4.1 yard a carry. Jalen Hurts got into it. 2 carries, 7 yards, 3.5 yards a carry. This game, DeVonta Smith was killing him. He stepped up in a big way. His 1 touchdown was nasty. toe tap, toe drag in the corner of the pylon. It was crazy. So he had 5 receptions, 80 yards, 16 yards of reception, 1 touchdown. Quez Watkins, 3 receptions, 43 yards, 14.3 yards of reception. Dallas Goedert, 2 receptions, 28 yards, 14 yards of reception. Jordan Howard, 2 receptions, 19 yards, 9.5 yards of reception. Jalen Reagor, 2 receptions, 15 yards, 7.5 yards of reception. Kenneth Gainwell, 1 reception, 6 yards. Lane Johnson, 1 reception, 5 yards, 1 TD. I like that play call. It was off guard, and a lot of people was saying that they should have saved that play for something, but nah. Now you got to defend him. So it's going to open up something else against another team. Miles Sanders, 1 catch, 3 yards. And in this game, a lot of the receivers dropped balls, which Jalen Hurts, he would have been over 200 yards easy this game. Our rushing attack, we had 130 yards, 5.4 yards a rush. That's good, going over 100 yards. We only allowed 1 sack. Our penalties was up this game, 11 penalties, but it is what it is. We came out with a win, a much-needed win on this playoff hunt. And hey, we can't help that we're playing teams that don't have their starting quarterback. You have to play against the players that are on the field. And so a win is a win in football. You get that dub and you move on. That's it. Each week, you get that dub, move on to the next week. And so our chances of making the playoffs before this game was 34%. After this win and a few teams losing, our chances went to 68% to make the playoffs. And like in my other pods, I didn't think this team even had a chance to make the playoffs based on how they started this year. The year started out, it was 2-5. We turned it around. Went 6-2. And so we're headed in the right direction. We have an identity. And like I said, just stick with it. Run the ball. Throw when you need to throw. And get your young quarterback some experience and how to win games. It might not look pretty, but still, you have to put your team in the best position to win games. And that's what Nick Sirianni has been doing these past 8 weeks. We can clinch in week 17 with a win over the Washington football team. The Vikings will have to lose against the Packers, or the Saints will have to lose to the Panthers, or the 49ers win over the Texans. So we have all of these variables for us to clinch in week 17. But the main thing that we need to look at is for us to win the game. We can't control those other variables because it's not us playing those other teams, but we have to focus on the Washington football team and win that game. I don't care if it's winning by 1 point, winning by a field goal, or blowing that team out. You have to come to play the game. That's it. Take care of business and move on and let those other variables of us making the playoffs play out itself. Our game against the Washington football team in week 17, we have to win that game to make the playoffs. They're going to come to play. They just got embarrassed by Dallas. Dallas put, I'm pretty sure, a 50-piece nugget on them. Players was fighting on the sideline. And so they're going to come out and they're going to give it. They're going to give it their all. Their coach ain't going to have that. Players is going to play hard. Heineke is back. So now we get to see that team with Heineke playing. And I'm not saying that he's an all-pro quarterback, but he was better than what we faced 2 weeks ago. And so this game, I think, will be a tough divisional game just because of the stress level, the other team coming to play, and it's going to be a divisional game. And all I want is for us, the Eagles, to just come out and play hard and play to win that game. You got to play to win. I don't care. You go out and don't take the foot off the gas pedal this game. Go out. If you have a chance to blow them out, blow them out. Blow them out. If you have a chance to blow them out, blow them out, and sit your players in the fourth quarter. Because you're going to need to rest up. Because in week 18 against the Dallas Cowboys, that might be a game that Dallas has to play. And from the looks of it, that would be a game that would be flexed to Sunday night because the ramifications of us, the Eagles making the playoffs, and then Dallas trying to get that number 1 seed, it could be big. And so they will be flexing that game because it might be for all the marbles. I hope not. I hope we can clinch in week 17 and we go out there and we play 2 quarters or 3 quarters or whatever, and we get to rest our players because we'll have to play Dallas if they're the number 2 seed and we're the 7 seed. We'll have to play Dallas in the playoffs, and that playoff game will be lit. That's going to be a good playoff game. Dallas against the Eagles, divisional teams in the playoffs. Man, it happened a few times back in the day. But right now, Dallas is the juggernaut right now. They look good. Defense is nice. We already know the offense, what they got with their weapons, but going up against the rushing attack of the Eagles, the young team, oh man, it's going to be headlines. Who knows? Hey, it's 0-0 when you in the playoffs. Your record really don't mean nothing. Your record only gets you home field advantage. Other than that, it's 0-0. And so, with that, people, it's a wrap. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Sound nothing like it.
So that was episode 32, Eagles Week 16 review. As you see, this Eagles team did not quit. They kept on playing. They kept on fighting. And now they have a increasingly chance to make the playoffs. 68%. Hats off to the coaching staff. Hats off to the players to continue to push and play and win football games. So this week against the Washington football team, this is a must-win. And I'm pretty sure that Eagles team will come to play. It will be a tough game, but we have to come to play. I don't care if this win is by 1, 3, or a blowout. Let's just get the win and let those other teams figure what they need to figure out to help us clinch in week 17. So with that, people, stay safe, give respect, and show love. 1. Make sure you go listen to all old and new NBC podcast episodes on all podcasting platforms. And please go to www.nothingbutconvos.com for the latest apparel.